What's up YouTube? Dolph the Vegan here. Just wanted to make another video educating people on some of the issues that that kind of drove me to veganism when I was starting out, and some things that were really educational for me. So what I think is the main point that people don't really focus on is the human anatomy and the biology behind why a plant-based or a vegan diet is way more optimal for a human being than the standard American diet. So I really think that the key to unlocking these answers is looking at our own anatomy, looking at our biology, and understanding how those things work in conjunction. So first thing I want to talk about is digestive tract. Alright, so the digestive tract starts in your mouth, goes down through your esophagus all the way into your stomach, then it converts into the small intestine, the large intestine, and then it comes out your butt. So the first thing to understand is the main enzyme in your mouth that is used to digest food, and that enzyme is salivary amylase. And amylase is predominantly used to digest carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are found in starches, fruits. It's basically to start digesting sugar, and that's the only thing that we really start digesting in the mouth. So if we look at carnivores, there's really no carnivores in nature that have salivary amylase in their stomach or in their mouth. So going from there, then we go to the stomach after it goes down the esophagus, and in the stomach the human pH of gastric acid is about 3 to 5, and that's fairly acidic, and if you throw up, that's going to really mess up your esophagus and your mouth. But if you look at carnivores, the pH of their gastric acid is 1 to 2, and that's more optimal for digesting meat. But human beings who really don't do well on a meat diet, and another reason for that is just how long our digestive tract is. Now it might seem like we don't have that much space like other animals do. We have a pretty contained body, but what you have to understand is that when those muscles are contracted and when they're tensile, they fold up and they kind of overlap each other, and they're very small. But if these muscles were flaccid and they were extended out, you would see that the digestive tract is well over 20 feet. And carnivores just don't have a similar amount of, it's much shorter. And the reason for that is because when meat gets stuck in your digestive tract, which is pretty common for the average middle-aged adult who's in their 50s and they have about 5 to 10 pounds of red meat stuck in their colon, putrefying, and it's causing all types of parasites, is that, you know, carnivores, it would be ideal for them to have a shorter colon so that they could get rid of that meat fairly quickly, because meat decomposes and it just attracts all types of other microorganisms that feed off of it. You would understand that it would not be ideal for a human being to eat meat on a regular basis, or long term for that matter, because I can concede that human beings throughout nature or throughout the years leading up to now may have had meat somewhere in their diet as a survival mechanism, but we have to understand that our ancestors were only living to possibly their teens, maybe their 20s, never in their 30s, because the environment was just so harsh. So really, meat was only a survival mechanism that kind of got us to the age of reproductive age so we could pass on our genes. But where people live now in society up to their 60s and their 70s and 80s, God forbid they live into their hundreds, but it's just, there's going to be illness along the way if you have meat in your diet. And that's a main reason why when I started learning about the anatomy of the human body, the physiology, understanding the different glands and organs that go into digesting food, the main fuel source isn't found in meat. Meat is very problematic. The amount of protein that you get, the amount of energy that it takes to digest the food is just not optimal. It's gonna make you feel sluggish, it's gonna make you feel tired. If you've ever been bogged down after a big meat meal, it's just, it doesn't work. And another thing that I want to talk about is amino acids, because a lot of people you know, I was one of those guys in the gym scene that was like, oh, I gotta get my protein, I gotta be strong. And what proteins are is they're chains of amino acids and peptide bonds. And what you need to understand is that the body actually produces most of these amino acids on its own. And there's, I think, 8 or 9 essential amino acids. There's about 20 something amino acids in total, but what these amino acids do is that they form the, you know, the cell wall, the composition of the whole body. They're really what our body converts into matter, and that is our main, you know, building blocks. But 9 of these essential amino acids are found in plants, which points pretty obviously towards the human body needing plants as its primary source of fuel. What else can I talk about? Just overall, human beings do better on a plant-based diet. If you look around the world at people who subsisted on plants, you see that the Okinawans, people always talk about the Okinawans as being the most common centenarians in their society. They commonly live up to 100 years old. Their diet is predominantly starches and just fruitarians. If you look at fruitarians, man, they're some of the thinnest people on the planet, and they do very well for themselves. And I've met people that just being raised on a vegan diet, eating fruit every single day, they rarely, if ever, get sick. And that's something very interesting that we need to look at. And if you look at the body again, what's the fuel that's going to the brain? What is the brain running on? This is the most important thing, you know? This is the greatest thing that we have, is the brain. And it needs a steady stream of glucose. The brain is always using up glucose. And that's really significant. And not only the brain, but the muscle fibers constantly need sugar when they're doing physical activity. If you're doing aerobic exercise, to fuel that production of ATP, you need glucose in combination with oxygen to fuel the muscle. And fiber as well. Fiber is a big thing that the standard diet is not getting people. And like I said before, digestive tract is so long. To move that stool along the digestive tract, you need fiber. And it's something that in a meat-based diet we just wouldn't get. You know, I see a lot of guys treat a lot of patients that they need stool softeners. They need something to move stool. And it's just, stool is excrement, it's waste. In case you didn't know, that's some term we use in medicine a lot, but it's just, try a plant-based diet. See how you feel. It's not gonna hurt you. Try to eat carbohydrates for most of your meal. If your meal was maybe, say, some rice, some vegetables, and a big piece of meat, just add more rice or vegetables to the meal. See how that makes you feel. Definitely try to eat more fruit. I'll have to say that fruit is the perfect fuel for the human body. It's the highest in vitamins and minerals. The human body, again, is 70% water, and fruit is the highest, you know, water content food probably out there. And it's the most easily digested food, absolutely. But I think where people make the mistake is that they only eat fruit for a snack. They don't include fruit as like the main food that they're eating throughout the day. And what you have to do with fruit is you just have to eat a lot more food. You have to really load up, and it's gonna be great for your digestive system, fruit, because there's just so much fiber. I mean, when you sit down and have a bowel movement, it's gonna be absolutely seamless. It's not gonna be a process that is painful in any way. It's just gonna be very, very easy for you. And I just think that's about it. And again, a main thing for me in switching to a vegan diet was learning about the human anatomy and physiology, and really understanding how the fuel source that humans need is integral to our evolution and how we have what we have in our bodies. And I would encourage everyone to just learn some basic anatomy and physiology. I mean, the body is an amazing tool. It's an amazing vessel that we have throughout life. And the processes and systems that it goes through on a daily basis is just so incredible to understand, and it's so complex, and it's so beautiful when you see everything working in conjunction. So I would really recommend learning about anatomy and physiology, and just get the right fuel source. You'll feel so much better. And a vegan diet is really, because of that, it's for everyone. I know people like to say, oh, my genetics are different, you know, you're totally different, but the reality is that we all have the same anatomy and physiology. We are all similar. Once we go into the body and actually look at the systems and the organ systems, we're all less than 1% different. And we're all very similar in that respect, that we need the same fuel source, and we all thrive off a similar diet. So I'd really encourage you guys to learn more about anatomy and physiology. Understand your body, put the right fuel inside you, get enough carbohydrates, you have the energy to read up on this stuff and just do more throughout the day. So thank you guys for watching, if you're still watching right now. For more content like this, if you guys like educational videos, you want to learn more about the body, I'm going to be making some more videos about the environment and learning about how a vegan diet is really a holistic concept, and that it's in line with putting the best fuel in your body and actually mitigating the suffering and death of other animals, and minimizing human beings' impact on the planet. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and just keep it carb, guys. Keep it carb.